Hello and welcome to a nice and cool episode of The Brave Room. As always, don't forget to leave a comment. If this episode hits 1,000 plays, we have to take one of your suggestions. I am your host, Wan and with me today, again, I have...
Kit as the usual guests and other half.
Yeah! And before we start this week's episode, I'd like to mention that my air conditioning has finally been fixed.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. No longer have to bake in the summer heat. It came just on time too. It's about to get worse.
Well, it just stopped raining at my place, so unrelatable for now.
That's the thing though. People think that it gets colder just because it rains. No. When it rains, the periods where it's not raining become unbearably hot. All that heat that was meant to be spread out over 24 hours becomes focused into the 3 hours where it's not raining. It's terrible. And then you've got mosquitoes running around. Terrible. Remember guys, clean out your gutters and make sure that there's no baby mosquitoes. It's really funny too. I follow a bunch of people on Twitter. Side note, I like to read about dinosaurs and stuff, so I follow a lot of like paleontologists and just in general scientist types, right? And they have a very scientist-y take where they're like, guys, mosquitoes are an important part of our ecosystem. And I'm like, yeah, because you're in the UK where mosquitoes only exist for 3 months out of the year. You don't understand the hatred that comes from living in a tropical country where mosquitoes are basically the plague. So anyways, that's the PSA for this week. Clean out your gutters. Don't get dengue.
Yep, don't get dengue.
And fuck mosquitoes.
My neighborhood got fogged the other day because presumably nearby that was the case, so that was nice.
Do you not do like a fogging every day?
They don't come by every day. It's like it only seems to come when presumably people have fallen ill, but I don't know. I hope not, as long as it's not me for the time being.
Yeah. So we got one disease to worry about already. We don't need a second one.
Yeah.
And that segues into what this week's topic is actually about. No, we're not going to talk about, the Rona. I think in the past, 18 months, you've found places to talk about that. But I do think we need to talk about the unexpected side effect, which is a severe lack of hype. It's very hard to get hype when trying to not die of a deadly lung virus. Surprise, surprise. So we just had a double whammy of this. First of all, if you attended our panel at AMG this past weekend, thank you so much. Especially if that was your first time seeing us and now you're listening to the episode.
Yeah.
Like, thank you so much for checking us out there. That was a lot of
fun. And for a little bit of interaction too.
Yeah, so here's the thing. As great as it is that we get to have an event at all, if it's online, man, that's so different from doing an in-person panel.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't crack some random jokes and maybe more people would call us cringe,
Maybe. Shout out to the one guy who called us cringe.
I wonder if chat replay is on.
Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, so if you listened to our Gundam episode a few weeks back, you'll know that I've done panels before. I've done 2 panels at VAX. One was a Gundam panel, and then I think the year after, I did a panel about games, I think. I can't remember. And panels are just so much fun, man. Especially, like, the more crowd you have for a panel, the more fun it is. Because you basically get to become a wrestling announcer. And your job is to just hype up the crowd whenever you can. And that's very hard to do. Like, for AMG, it was extra hard because our segment was pre-recorded. So, surprise, you can't interact with the audience. We tried.
Yeah.
I tried to pretend like I was
so
interacting.
limited.
But yeah, so I think if you're the type like me who, really, really enjoys the high of interacting with an audience, then you're gonna be disappointed.
I mean, I don't really want to interact with the audience because I'm a hyper introvert and all, but when it comes to events, I'm seeing like TI 10 supposed to be this grand whole thing, and then suddenly Rona said, oops, no, we can't have people in the stadium. And that was it.
Yeah. For a panel like audience interaction, them's the rules. I remember at the Gundam panel, we had to give out. I'm pretty sure I told the story in the Gundam episode as well, where we had a competition where we gave out Gundam model kits, and the idea was you were supposed to represent your Gundam. So, like Amir, the guest we had on the podcast, he had a unicorn Gundam, I think, and so just like yes, and we had to auction it off to the audience basically, and so you start at 0, and then you and the idea was if you could exceed the original price of the model kit by hyping up your Gundam, then you win the contest. So there's a mobile suit called the Ball, and I brought that kit. It's like I think 50 ringgit or something. It's one of the cheapest model kits you can get. And then I printed out a picture of a Gundam's V-fin and glued it onto the ball, and then printed out the word Gundam in the same font as the box, and then taped it on and won the contest because everyone wanted to buy this bizarre prank. So yeah, you can't do that online. You really can't do that. You don't have that same level of where, when I first brought it out and there was like a second of pin drop silence, and then suddenly everyone starts furiously bidding on it.
Like you can have webcams and all that, and all the chat interactions, like how you can raise your hands and stuff. But man, it's just not the same.
It really just isn't the same. And because for the longest time I've wanted to do stand-up. Like I've always wanted to do stand-up at a convention, because whenever I do stand-up at like, a dingy club or whatever, I can't go full weeb, right?
Yep.
I can't make a joke about Sword Art Online. This is a pub with like a 33-year-old dude who can't connect with his son, and the last thing he needs to be reminded of is whatever anime is going on right now. It's just like my son's anime. That's how I get glassed, is what I'm saying. But at a convention, everyone does like that. I was like, oh man, see, look at that. Even the comedian knows who Kirito is.
Then people of all walks of life in really bulky costumes, and they're silently in pain.
Yeah, I love that. I love everything about conventions. I was watching this episode of Dragon Maid. I picked a random episode of Dragon Maid to watch because it was on Netflix, and it was the Comic Cat episode. And there was this really touching speech about how, like, everyone goes to conventions because, it's a big congregation of people who love the same thing. And I was just like, yeah, that's it. So
But now it's online for now, I guess.
It's one of those things. I'm glad it's online for the people who need it as a source of income. Because, you hear a lot about, like, freelance artists who do make a bit of money from conventions.
Yeah.
But like, if you're like me and just here for the party, side note, I do booth at conventions, but like the money is like a side effect. The main thing I'm here for every convention is to sit around with a giant Dark Souls poster and have people go, holy shit, there's a guy selling Dark Souls merch here. What the hell are you doing in a sea of Boku no Hero merch? So yeah.
Really the Dark Souls of convention boosters.
truly the Dark Souls of convention boofers. My favorite thing is when my friends started boofing with me, like we would split a table,
Uh-huh.
and she started doing Dark Souls stuff too, so it was a double down. We were the only two Dark Souls boofs in the entire. And now I can also be the only review Starlight boof. Oh boy. But yeah, and just being an online storefront doesn't cut it, you know?
Yeah, that is not just well, for me, I won't really miss squeezing through the crowds and all that. And also, the shipping fees when it comes to online booths.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I miss Conflu, weirdly enough. And hear me out. Here's why I miss Conflu. I knew I wasn't gonna die from Conflu. Now, if I were to go to a convention, go through a crowd, and then the next day, have a sore throat and the sniffles, I'd be like, oh god, I'm going to die. Then I'd go to a drive-through and get stabbed in the nose. So yeah, I miss conventions, man.
Yeah, I miss them, especially for AMG. For me specifically, I've told you this before. Because of the Toho Brigade, they had the concerts the other time with artists and circles, doujin circles, I guess, that I liked. So I went there. I think one time they had the Yuhei satellite. That was like 2 years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I had my parents pick me up because they were worried for me and all that. And we got home like midnight or something because it ended at 10.
Damn.
Like low-key missed that, but we were all just Toho weeps standing there listening and singing to whatever lyrics we recognized.
Yeah, no. Okay, AMG in particular, good lord, I love AMG. Because AMG's unique thing is the concerts, right?
Yep.
And I think when this episode goes up, AMG is still going on because it's a 3-week thing. And so, like, there is a magic to live music. I don't know if I've ever said that on the podcast before, but like even stuff like what's the name of the performance that was right before our panel? Mika Kobayashi, like as great as her performance is compared to hearing her live, that would have been like a completely different experience.
Did you hear all the mangled Japanese because people aren't sure what the actual lyrics are?
Yeah. I remember, I think it was 2018's AMG, and I'm at the booth, right, just handling my shit. And then suddenly I hear this dude shredding the Monster Hunter theme on the guitar. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And it's the hypest thing ever. I turn around, there's a huge crowd at the stage, and there's just this dude just like and it's the best. And then he finishes the song, and we're all like, woo, whatever. And then he's like, yeah, and now for my next one, I'm gonna play Beat Hit from Digimon. I'm just like, okay, okay, you're gonna do me like that? All right, let's go. Oh, it was so good. And you just don't get that in an online show. Like, it never reaches that level of hype.
There's only so much all caps can do and PogChamps and all that whatever emotes that comes out.
No, we don't PogChamp anymore. Not because shout out to Gutangs, you prick.
Yes, I remember that. But people still use Pog and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's just something about the live music experience, It's especially great if it's not a song you're familiar with, but then just the hype of the audience gets you into it as well.
Yep.
I remember AMG 2018 closed off with a jazz band. And they were... they played like they played the Rurouni Kenshin ending. Yeah, they played both the second opening and It's Gonna Rain, and it was so good. Like, that's the perfect way to end the convention. And then they played Aha's Take on Me, and everyone did the meme dance, and it was just like, God, this is great. I love every single one of these nerds. And as my friend pointed out, this is all happening without the use of alcohol.
Yep.
Like, weebs are powerful, man.
I mean, yeah, the AMG brought me there, sold me because of the old stuff. Like, if you give me something I like, I will give my all just to leave the house when I normally hate it too.
I remember, like, for CF as well, my friend, I have a friend who comes with me. He doesn't sell anything, but he helps me with the booth. And so, you know, every day, every convention, day 2, end of the day, right, we're packing up our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, oh, you know, we should go home, ... But the after party though. So we're gonna go upstairs, check out the after party real quick. And I'm just like, yeah, of course. And we go in, sure enough, there's a guy with a turntable. He's playing the Pop Team Epic opening. Everyone's dancing. It's the best. I think that feeling too of where like you don't know what's going to happen when you open this door and surprise, it's a good time.
So this just makes me so depressed about the times where going out was actually an option, you know?
Yeah? How do you think I feel? Listen, I am surrounded by all of you people who keep telling me shit like, oh, you know, it doesn't bother me because I'm an introvert. Guys, I'm an introvert, so it doesn't bother. Like, okay, cool, it bothers me. Next question.
Okay, look, I'm a self-professed introvert. Even I would like to have the option to go out sometimes, you know?
Yeah. God. Oh, it's just so much fun. And then it's just that level of going out and meeting new people, you know? I remember, like, I made a few friends just because I would see them wearing a Dark Souls cosplay and yell at them from, like, across my lane. Be like, yo! Dark Souls dude! To the point that I made sunlight badges from Dark Souls. That's the Praise the Sun dude. His covenant gives them out as a sign of friendship. So I would give them out for free to Dark Souls cosplayers. I just be like, yeah, no, this one is for you. It is okay. You do not have to buy anything.
Praise the sun.
Yeah, praise the sun. It's just the best. And then now, I haven't been to a convention since becoming a proper fighting games man. So I need to go do that. I need to go get my ass kicked at a fighting game tournament. Sadly, I dawdled too long and I missed the AMG Guilty Gear signups.
Well, at least you got your ass kicked at EVO qualifiers.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, that was the second part of this episode. I was going to talk about my time at EVO. EVO's another thing that kind of suffered a little from the hype, because EVO used to be like a huge thing, right? It's one weekend, all the fighting game stuff happens that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Then come Sunday, I hope you're not a games journalist, because, oh boy, Street Fighter be dropping trailers, Tekken be dropping trailers. What's this? Daisuke announced another Guilty Gear? You know, that all that happening because it's such a big event, right?
Yep.
And then this year's EVO was spread out over 2 weekends, spread by region because of, you know, netcode issues. And then, even then, they still ran into issues. Shout out to the Guilty Gear Latin American region Grand Finals, which didn't air because they couldn't get a stable connection going.
And I'm like thinking, okay, strife aside, for me, I'm not really the fighting games person because I bought Grand Blue. Yeah, I bought Grand Blue versus just specifically for the in-game bonuses. And I've seen people like, this game couldn't even get a scene because of all the Rona thing.
Yeah. You know why? Because Grand Blue Versus has terrible netcode.
I mean, terrible netcode aside, people couldn't get together physically to even try something.
Its only shot was if they could have a physical event. And they couldn't because of Rona. When Grand Blue Versus launched, I was in Bristol. And we hit and you know, we had a physical event to go try out the game, and yeah, like that game needs fighting games should be in person. Like, it's great that we've gotten the infrastructure to make it work online, but I miss in-person fighting games.
All these sweaty nerds.
Yeah, if you do too well, you get stabbed in the parking lot. That's how it go.
Oh god.
It's the hype, you know. I still watch the reveal for Guilty Gear. Then it was called Guilty Gear 2020. Like, the reveal trailer for that. That was so incredibly wild. Like, you see the entire EVO stage just go mad. Like, the announcer goes like, next we have a presentation by Daisuke Ishiwatari from Arc System Works. And the entire crowd loses their minds. Because if Daisuke is there, that means Guilty Gear. He's not gonna suddenly announce that he's working on Tekken. And then they put on the trailer. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for, like, the premiere trailer for Guilty Gear 2020, but it's literally like a bunch of scenery, and then it cuts to Soul and Kai's swords in the ground, and then their hands like appear on screen to pick up the swords as a guitar riff starts playing. It's the hypest thing ever.
Yeah, I vaguely remember watching it because I know that people were just going bonkers over it.
Yeah, you need to see the crowd reaction to that. Like, it is silent until the hands show up. And
like, I feel like competitive things in general, like, there was one time I went to, deride it all you want, PUBG Mobile, regional finals and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just this different feeling when you are there. You know nothing of what's going on, but people are just shoutcasting. They're so passionate. They're yelling. Then suddenly there's something happens. Winner, chicken dinner, and there's this. I just miss it too.
Yeah, I don't know how it's like for battle royales, because battle royales are like significantly slower than, like, of the competitive game types. I feel like battle royale is like the hardest to shoutcast, because like, and he's waiting in a bush, and he's waiting in a bush. Oh, now he's behind a rock. Oh, and he's number one.
I feel like there's a lot of switching of POVs and cameras, and also because PUBG Mobile, that one was played as teams of, I'm not sure how many members, but yeah, because one person alone could possibly carry the team if the rest of them are down. So the kind of final minutes were really exciting to tune in.
So it's like basketball then.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of like in-person sports kind of things, so when I was in Bristol, I lived down the road from a sports bar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Side tangent. I'm gonna tell this story. So I think the bar was called like All Star or something like that. It was like the premier sports pub in Bristol, I think. Like, everything about it screamed dude bro. It was upstairs, and you go upstairs and there's a bunch, I don't remember what machines they were outside, and you go in and the entire, like, it was a busy night for football. There were 3 football games going on, I think. And the pub was prepared for this. Like, it had already been segregated into 3 areas with 3 screens showing 3 different games on it. And so you sat down based on which game you wanted to watch. And that was the best. Like, you should know, I hate sports. I absolutely hate sports. But that was so much fun. Because I'm there, we're watching, I think I was there for the Chelsea game. I don't remember. Don't make me say who the other team was. I don't remember. You should be lucky that I remembered the name Chelsea. And I remember I was there with my flatmates. There's 3 or 4 of us there. I think it was 5 of us. And then and they're watching, and Chelsea's not doing great. And then they hear cheering coming from one of the other rooms. And so my flatmate goes, I think it's more fun over there. Let's go watch their game instead. And as we give up our seats to head into the next area, Chelsea scores a goal. It's so much. That's the thing, right? being in person for these kinds of things makes even games you hate fun.
Yeah.
Unless it's
it's just the raw energy and the other people. It's just so fun.
It's nice being in a room full of happy people for once. Without worrying what kind of disease they're gonna give you next.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's great. And I think it's hard. It's harder in an Asian country because I remember attending, I think it was some League of Legends event at a Malaysian esports arena. Or maybe it was Mobile Legends, I don't remember. And not caring at all because the fans were all very polite. So the fans are like very quietly listening. Then only when the shoutcaster gives you permission, they're like, but otherwise it's just like even the shoutcaster has to like make up for the hype deficit, and it's just a bad time. Whereas like in the Chelsea situation, you have this big British dude suddenly like all tense up at once, like yeah, and all that.
Luckily for me, the PUBG one was actually pretty fun, except the upstairs was really, really cold for some reason. Like, geez, you don't want the media to be popsicles, do you?
Yeah, that's why I love like fighting games as well, because like we covered in our Razor episode previously, fighting games are the easiest game to get hyped for. There are 2 bars that tell you who's winning.
And maybe suddenly the screen will flash.
Yeah, oh no, the screen flashed and now he's winning. Oh, that makes so much sense.
Oh my god, I'm hearing the blocking sounds. Are they blocking? Look at the timer. Oh my god. Start yelling.
Let's go, Justin. Yeah, and like it's just hard to do that online, is our point.
Yeah, TL didn't listen. Too long didn't listen. Ain't nothing like being in person events.
Yeah, I remember like my fighting game event at Bristol. This dude challenged another dude, and they were saying that like, so dude B is like a tournament competitor, right? Goes to multiple tournaments and stuff. And so dude A is like, I want like, yo, but I'm better than you though. And so dude B is like, okay, we will play 30 games. Like we each put 5 quid on the table. We will play 30 games. If you can win one of those games, you get the money. Let me spoil how that ended for you. 30-0. Like it's so dumb, but that's hype. And that's what we're severely missing in these unprecedented times that have been precedented for the past 18 months.
Yes. Insert tired sigh here.
Insert tired sigh. Should I talk a bit about my actual time at Evo, by the way?
Maybe you should leave that for your text.
I'm doing an article on it as well, but yeah. So my experience with Evo. First of all, don't get your hopes up. I drowned at pools. I drowned hard. Final score 2-2, which is not that bad, except for the only reason I won 2 matches was because one of my matches, the guy got disqualified for not showing up.
There was an attempt.
There was an attempt. I will ride those disqualifications up wherever I can. But yeah, that also soured the Evo experience a little because you had all these people just not show up, and we don't know why they didn't show up. But sure enough, there they weren't. So yeah. As usual, we don't really have a ribbon to tie all this up in. It's just we miss in-person events and wanted to talk about it more.
Yeah.
Would you attend if Comic Fiesta suddenly came out and said, yo, Comic Fiesta this year in person, let's go? Would you?
Only if there is an artist I like, otherwise no.
So they made the announcement like right now. So yeah, Comic Fiesta's coming back this year. It's gonna be in person, gonna be the usual venue, gonna be everything. I feel like
admittedly, the few times I went to Comic Fiesta, I think it was like twice. The first time I couldn't get in because the line was so disorganized. The second time I almost got heat stroke because I was in cosplay.
Damn. It's true, Kit does these amazing elaborate mech cosplays.
Har.
But yeah, no, I feel like one convention has to take the hit, where they have to be the first convention and then no one's going to show up because no one's going to trust them. Someone has to take the hit. Because, and then, budget it accordingly. Because otherwise someone else is going to make this super lavish, expensive convention. But because it's the first one out, no one's going to attend. So yeah, someone take the hit. Heck, we'll do it. GBX, yeah.
No thanks.
Nah? Okay, fine. But yeah, so I'm just saying that's how it's gonna go. And that's pretty much how this episode's gonna go. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to leave a comment. Tell us what events you miss, or your favorite live performance that you've seen. Or if you're the guy who knocked me out of Evo. Oh man. It's really funny too. One more note about that is because Guilty Gear has a level system telling you how much you've played.
Yeah.
So my next match is against this dude whose floor rank is there's 10 floor ranks in Guilty Gear, right?
Okay.
There's 10 numbered ranks, and then there's Celestial, which is above that. So this dude has a Celestial badge, and I'm just like, oh, I'm going to losers bracket. Cool. And then the next dude I fight, I'm level like 80 something, and he's like level 123 and playing Soul Bad Guy. And I'm just like, oh, so I'm leaving the tournament. Cool. For my pride, I got one round in against both of them. It wasn't a complete washout. There was value in me pressing buttons.
You get a gold star.
Yeah, I get a gold star. I didn't give up. Akiramenai. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. This has been another episode of The Brave Room. Yeah, tell us your favorite events, man. I want to hear about them. And congratulate me for going an entire episode about conventions and not mentioning the wrestling at VAX. I'll save that for another episode, I think.
Okay, sure.
Because I don't want this episode to run too long. But yeah, VAX 2016, you had to be there. Kit, anything you want to say before we just turkey up?
Nothing, especially except please, for the love of God, get your people to get their doses so that we can actually go back to normal.
Yeah,
Thank
get
you.
vaccinated, wear a mask. Oh god, I'm just ripping off Seth Meyers now. That's how he closes all his monologues. Yeah, get vaccinated, wear a mask, and forcefully vaccinate other people. No, but seriously, peer pressure the shit out of them.
Yep.
Unless they have like legitimate health reasons, of course. Then, be understanding. Don't be a dick about it. But if your friend suddenly has an internet degree in medicine, be like, shut up and take the damn shot.
Or shots, plural.
Take the damn shot and get an appointment for your second shot. Do it! End this nightmare! End this nightmare and I'll talk about wrestling at VAX. In person. This has been our episode of The Brave Room. Take care, guys.
Take care.